My name is Jacopo D'Andrea Ursoleo. I'm an ELT author. I'm based in Italy. I'm an expert in teaching English to speakers of other languages and in language testing. I'm active in the English language teaching industry as author and editor for several international publishers, and I've written a wide range of ELT resources with a particular focus on textbooks for English language exams and how best to prepare for them. I mainly work with Kate, who is an English teacher based in Bologna in Italy, who specializes in young learners and in business English. Kate is also currently active as a Cambridge Assessment English speaking examiner at all levels, and she's author of a number of English language exam training books and ELT textbooks. She also regularly edits academic research papers, particularly in the field of statistics. So once again, welcome everybody, and welcome Kate to the webinar. If you have any questions, please do feel free to write them in the chat box, and I'll try and reply to them immediately, but if I don't have time, we'll have time at the end of the webinar. We have 15 minutes to discuss any questions or concerns that may arise during the webinar. So, let's take a look at today's agenda. So today, we're going to take a look at a series of reading tasks, task types, taken from Complete INVALSI 2.0, Helbling Languages, a brand new series, preparation series for the INVALSI English language exam in upper secondary school and the B2 First exam. But we're really excited today because we are going to have a lot of time to focus on the new INVALSI reading task types, which were released by the INVALSI, by the Istituto INVALSI in 2020. We're going to take a look at different reading task types and so different approaches to prepare our students to each of them. And we're also going to glance over successful exam technique at B2 level for both the INVALSI and the B2 First exam. Last but not least, it's going to be time for you to ask us questions.
Not hard ones, I hope.
Oh. So, what are we using today? The materials you'll find in these slides are taken from Complete INVALSI 2.0, which is again a brand new series of INVALSI books published by Helbling Languages. Today we're going to use the major edition, which contains 8 full practice tests for the INVALSI English language test in Scuola Secondaria di Secondo Grado. We're going to use the B2 First handbook for teachers for the B2 First part of today's webinar, which is available for free on the Cambridge Assessment English website. And last but not least, we're very excited to introduce you to Complete INVALSI 2.0, the Supplementary Activities booklet, which has just been released by Helbling Languages. And before we get started, I would like to spend a couple of more words on this resource. So, Complete INVALSI 2.0 Supplementary Activities is a 16 pages brand new booklet containing a lot of reading and listening tasks, which are based on all of the official task types released by the INVALSI in 2020. As you may know, Complete INVALSI 2.0 was released in 2019. So, in order to ensure that both teachers and learners get the most up-to-date resource in order to prepare for the INVALSI English language test, Helbling Languages and ourselves have decided to offer you this supplementary booklet, which contains all activities at B2 level as per the official syllabus released in 2020. So basically, this booklet is available for download from Helbling eZone for both teachers and learners who decide to adopt and use Complete INVALSI 2.0 during their daily teaching and learning experience. As you can see here, once you register on Helbling eZone, you will see that there's a button here called Supplementary Activities, and if you click on that button, you'll be able to download the booklet for free. Obviously, for the teacher will also be able to download the answer key related to this brand new booklet.
So it's available to students as well, is it, this booklet? Not just to teachers?
Yes, this booklet is available to both students and learners who use Complete INVALSI 2.0 during their daily teaching and learning experience. So, I'm now going to hand over to Kate, who will introduce you to the world of reading tasks. Thanks for your attention, and I'll be here to moderate the chat, and we'll meet again at the end of the webinar. And enjoy the webinar. Good luck, Kate.
Thank you. I'll just go to the next page and see what's there. Okay. So, hello everybody. Just to give me an idea, who of you are working with the Complete INVALSI 2.0? Just put in yes if you are, and it gives me an idea, or put in no if you're not, and you're just wanting to listen and find out what's going on, and then I know if you've got your books in front of you, etc. So we've got no. Oh, so we have many people to convert to our wonderful book. Okay, so as you know, Jack and I are the authors of this book, and what I'm going to go through today is we're going to do the new INVALSI tasks first, and then we're just going to go through all of them and talk together about how to deal with them and how to teach them, because some of them are a bit strange and some of them are very long and difficult with lots of different questions. So today we're going to be doing all the readings, and next Monday, same time, same channel, we're going to be doing all the listenings. So I'll see you then next week as well. Now, so what the difficult thing with doing this on a PowerPoint is that, of course, we can't get it as large as the page. So what I'm generally going to start with each activity is just an overview of what the page looks like, which is this. And of course, you can't read it, but it gives you an idea of what's going on. So it has the rubric at the top with the question, and then the text, and then the actual questions underneath. So this is the new multiple matching, and it's a bit like the first certificate part 7, where they have 5 or 6 separate paragraphs on topics. It is different from that part 7 though, and we'll be doing part 7 later in this talk when we get to first certificate at the end of the talk. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 paragraphs and 6 questions and 1 0 question. So if we just have a look at what the rubric looks like, it says read the texts about interesting customs around the world, then choose the correct texts A to H to answer the questions 1 to 6. And it's actually the opposite of the usual multiple matching that we do with INVALSI, where you have to match the other way around. So we have 6 texts and more questions than texts. Usually we have more texts than questions. I'll show you, hang on. So we have to look at all the texts and decide which text mentions a custom that does all of these things. So here we have, can we read that? I'll just make this one a little bit bigger. Oh dear, sorry. Okay. So make it a bit bigger. No, that's now too big. Okay. Aha, there we go. All right, so this is the first custom that we read about. Just I'm sorry about this. I'm having a little bit of difficulty getting it to the right size. Can you read that as it is? Can you say yes if you're able to read that? Oh, okay. I've just found it quite difficult, that's all. So this is one example of one of the texts, and if we go back, I think there's another one here. Okay, so this is the first one, so this is text A. So in China, it's considered very bad luck to turn a fish over on your plate while you're eating it. The correct way is to eat one side first and then lift the bones away and continue to the other side of the fish. Turning the bones over when you flip a fish could be a symbol of turning your back on someone or being a traitor. It's also believed it might even cause a boat to capsize. However, the actual reason for this superstition remains unknown as its origins are ancient and long forgotten. Okay, so then we look at the questions. So we need to work out which text this is referring to. So F, the 0 one, has already been done. So no one really knows the reason behind. Which text mentions a custom that means ignoring what has been requested in order to be polite? Which text mentions a custom that is said to be polite but might be bad for your health? Or shows how much trust local people have for each other? Is similar to a custom in another country, or is an amusing way of thanking little creatures? Which one do you think it is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6? Excellent. So it's question 1. So what I suggest to do with these ones is to go through each paragraph and return to the questions. I wouldn't even waste time, get the students to waste time reading the questions first, because there are so many of them and they'll probably forget them. So everyone got the answer right, so it must be the easy way to do it. If we go to the next one, it is, in Egypt, you should never put salt on your food or ask for it to be brought to the table. It's considered an insult to the chef, as it means the food hasn't been prepared correctly. However, the Egyptian government has been trying to change this custom for health reasons. Salt loses its iodine content during the cooking process, and as a result, many Egyptians suffer from an iodine deficiency. By adding salt after the food is cooked, this problem could be avoided. So we go back to the questions, and of course they're on the same page in the book, so it's a bit easier to get around. Quickly scan through the questions, and which one do you think it is? Excellent. Yes. Question 3. It's said to be polite, but it might be bad for your health. Okay. How would you do this kind of question, do you think, if you were approached with it? So you have all these chapters, all these paragraphs, and then the questions. Would you read the paragraphs first, or would you read the questions first, do you think? Yeah, I think that's the best way of doing it. I think that's the best way of doing it. But another thing, when you get a bit of practice on these kind of questions, another thing that you can do with the class is you can show them just the paragraph. So we'll go back to just something a little bit different to do. And before you show them the questions, you could ask them to write down what they think the question would be for this paragraph. So so which text means a custom that? So what we could do for this one is, which text, can anyone think of a question that could go with this text? For example, which text talks about adding salt to food? Or which text talks about a custom in Egypt? Or which text talks about a government policy? All of these could be questions. So if you get the students to think about how they would form a question for this text, it gets them more into the habit of getting into the head of the writer of the exam and knowing what to look for while they're doing this exercise. They'll have to spend about 10 minutes on this, so they have to read it quite quickly. When you're doing an exercise like this, for example, and you present it to the students, they would have the book in front of them in class. Maybe you could also take the opportunity to look at some of the text and ask them what vocabulary they might find difficult. And you can get them to underline words and talk about them in class, about what they mean, because there will be a lot of unknown words in these texts, but they should be able to understand them by the context, not exactly what they are, but be able to understand it pretty much just from looking at the word, or maybe it's similar to an Italian word. Can you see any words in this paragraph that you think your students might have problems understanding? Iodine, good. It's similar to the Italian word, but I mean, it could give you something to talk about in class, about the fact that iodine is in salt. It's an addition, and so it could push them to want to get more information online, perhaps, about this topic. I think this is a very interesting custom. I've never heard of this one.